Hi, everybody. I'm Skip Alsheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16mm film, and that was a Castle film, which obviously took footage from a newsreel about the eruption of Vesuvius, I believe in the 40s. Really dramatic footage. I mean, volcanoes, man. They're just this awesomeness of power and just seeing townspeople. I have a very past memory when Mount St. Helens erupted, and I remember seeing news stories about it. And then I went to Portland in the 90s, I think, and visited the Mount St. Helens, and it was awesome. Oh my gosh, just to see the devastation and then see how the National Park Service was slowly letting everything come back naturally, as far as growth of plants and trees and stuff like that. So there you go. All right. So I had a great show last night. Thank you to everybody that showed up at the Alamo Draft House in Raleigh for the Dog Day show. And I figured, hey, I've got this reel built up. Why don't I show you films from this? So we're going to go ahead and watch at least the first reel from the Dog Days of Summer show that I did. And this first film is Behave, Bernard. Enjoy.
Spent his days running on the beach without a care in the world. But Bernard had a lot to learn about being a good dog. It just seemed he was always trying to cause trouble. Instead of cooperating with Glenn and walking nicely like other dogs, Bernard always ran as fast as he could go. And instead of helping Glenn keep the backyard clean, Bernard was always making a mess. Bernard didn't care that someone else had to pick up after him, as long as he didn't have to do it. Whenever Glenn worked on a school project in the backyard, Bernard never thought of how important it was to Glenn. Instead of lending a helping paw, Bernard only got in the way and bothered Glenn. Glenn just didn't know what to do with Bernard. No matter how hard he tried to be his friend and teach him how to be a good dog, Bernard just didn't seem to care.
When I go running through my park, where no dogs are allowed, I close my eyes and do what I want to do. I go there anyhow. Maybe it's wrong to go there. Maybe I should follow the rules. But I close my eyes and go where I want to go and do what I want to do.
Oh boy, look at that. She's eating an ice cream cone. And it looks like my favorite flavor, vanilla. She probably wouldn't mind if I had a taste. Oh, it is vanilla. Ice cream in my tummy is very, very yummy. You don't mind if I take this with me, do you? See you later. This is almost as good as a bone. I think it's okay to take something if you really like it.
But the little girl was very sad. She liked her ice cream cone too. Bernard should have known that if something belongs to someone else, it's wrong to take it away from them.
Hey, wonder what Mr. Wilson's doing today. I think it's been exactly 1 day since I took his newspaper. There's the paper. And where's Mr. Wilson? There he is, right on time. Guess he doesn't see me or the paper yet. Now he does. Oh, doggone it. He's not going to try and race me again. Doesn't he know I won the Doggy Olympics last year? Here goes. poor Mr. Wilson. He lost again. I know it makes him mad when I steal his newspaper, but it's just so much fun for me.
But Bernard was only thinking of himself again. By taking Mr. Wilson's paper and teasing him all the time, Bernard was not only being a bad dog, he was losing Mr. Wilson as a friend. He was also making Glenn very unhappy. Glenn wondered if Bernard would ever learn to be a good dog and be his friend.
Well, not a bad day so far. Hey, look at that. A doghouse made out of sand. Wonder if they need a dog to try it out. Why, I guess those boys didn't appreciate my help. But doggone it, as long as I'm having fun, that's all that matters.
But finally, the dog catcher was told about Bernard's bad behavior. Bernard was making a lot of people very mad at him. He never stopped to think that all the things he did for fun bothered and even hurt the people around him. They didn't know what else to do but to ask the dog catcher for help. All the bad things Bernard was doing were catching up with him. No one wanted Bernard to be punished, but how else would he learn to stop making trouble for everyone? The dog catcher knew just how to catch Bernard.
Gee, I'm hungry as a bear. Wow, is that a hamburger? Somebody must have left that there just for me. No pickles? Hey, what's this? Help, Glenn! Help, Glenn! Oh no, please don't take me away.
I wonder why I'm here. I didn't rob a bank. I didn't bite the mailman. There must be some mistake. Does anybody care? Will I get another chance? I'll be a better doggy if I get out of here.
I really will try and be a better dog. Glenn!
Glenn came to take Bernard home. He wanted to try one more time to teach Bernard to be a good dog and to get along with all the people in the neighborhood.
Maybe I should have stayed in the pound. Bubble baths always make me feel so silly. Oh well, at least I'll look handsome. I'm kind of hungry. Wonder how these bubbles taste. Oh. Well, here I am in front of my house being a good dog. This isn't so bad, but I kind of miss the old days. Maybe I should take a walk and see what's happening around town. Oh, flowers. There's nothing like the feel of flowers on my nose. This is the life. I hope Glenn doesn't think it's bad.
But Glenn did think it was bad, and he was very upset with Bernard. He thought Bernard would change his ways, but Bernard still hadn't learned his lesson. Now he had to spend his days chained up.
Oh, doggone it. What am I gonna do now? Hey, who's that? It's Mr. Wilson. Wouldn't you know he has to come over when I'm chained up and can't get away? I bet he's still pretty mad at me for all the times I took his paper. Looks like I'm trapped.
But Mr. Wilson wasn't there to punish Bernard. He was there because he felt sorry for Bernard being chained up.
What's he going to do to me? A hamburger? My favorite. I just don't understand this Mr. Wilson. After all the times I've stolen his newspaper, he's still as nice to me?
Bernard was happy that Mr. Wilson brought him the hamburger, but he still didn't like being chained up. The first chance he had, he ran away again.
Oh, it's nice to be free again. Hey, there's Mr. Wilson's newspaper. And no Mr. Wilson either. Boy, would he be mad if he found me out here.
But more than being mad, Mr. Wilson was sad that Bernard still hadn't learned his lesson.
Oh, hi, Mr. Wilson.
And he still wanted to give Bernard one more chance. Bernard started thinking about how nice Mr. Wilson had been to him the other day. Now he had to decide if he would be nice to Mr. Wilson.
Maybe Mr. Wilson and I can be friends. Here's your paper, Mr. Wilson. Sorry it's a little slobbery. I know I've been giving you a lot of trouble lately, but now I really am going to be a good dog.
Bernard did become a good dog. He finally learned that you don't have to make trouble to have fun, and that having friends is one of the most important things in the world. Bernard became friends with everyone, especially Mr. Wilson and Glenn.
I think it's better to be nice. I think it's better to help. I think I can be really, really happy if I think less of myself. Maybe everybody will like me. Maybe I'll win an award. Maybe I can be a doggy to look up to. I think I can be a doggy to look up to. I know I can be a doggy to look up to. Maybe one to love.
So were those songs that Bernard were singing, are those toe tappers? Are they candidates for 2024? Let me know in the comments. They were a hit when I showed it last night. So I want to show you the next film, but it's a National Film Board of Canada film that was made in the late 70s, early 80s. And I'm just afraid that they're going to bring the hammer down on me. So let's watch this instead. Sentinels of Safety. Enjoy.
Possible to assemble representatives of all the public guardians of safety who are protecting your home, a scene like this would result. Far-fetched? Yes. But few of us stop to realize the number of people who actually are protecting us from outside dangers. But even as these sentinels of safety are on guard outside this home, what dangers lurk within and beyond their powers of defense? Thousands upon thousands dead. Who are they? They are the people who died last year, needless victims of common household accidents. You doubt this could have happened? How? We will show you how. Basement stairs often have a defective step that is made doubly dangerous by carrying too heavy a load. Keep these steps repaired. Low beams and poor lighting combine to cause danger, especially on stairs and in basements. Turn on plenty of light before entering these dark places. When a gas leak is suspected, call the gas company. Their men know how to handle such things with safety. An explosion may be the end of you and your entire family. Every person's body will conduct electricity just like a wire. Never make the mistake of touching an unprotected electric cord, switch, or appliance while standing on a wet floor. At least take the precaution of wearing rubber overshoes. They will prevent an electric shock. Using inflammable fluids, such as gasoline, benzene, or naphtha, for cleaning in the same room where there is an open flame is just as dangerous as playing with dynamite. Send your cleaning to a reliable cleaning establishment, or if you must do it yourself, do it out of doors. Roller skates left on stairs can cause a nasty fall. Have your child put skates away where no one can trip over them. Among small children, more than 1/3 of all home accidents are due to burns and scalds. You can prevent this by keeping your child safe from harm in a playpen. Loose throw rugs on polished floors are the principal cause of falls. Non-slip pads under rugs will prevent them from slipping. Falls cause more than 40% of all injuries that happen in the home. Make sure that your rugs and carpets are securely fastened down. Grease on the linoleum floor may result in this. Pans with handles protruding are easily knocked off the stove and grease spilled on the floor. It should be cleaned up immediately. Handles of pans should be turned away from those who might upset them in passing. Climbing for a fall. A ladder can be mighty dangerous unless you make sure it stands firmly and is well braced. Stepping on sharp objects with bare feet in the bedroom often has serious consequences. Keep floors clean and wear slippers. Starting a fire with kerosene is a good, quick way to die. Always place pins in the corks of poison bottles so that in the dark you can distinguish poisons from the harmless medicines. Jagged edges of metal cans may cause painful cuts. Keep your hands away from the sharp edge. When using a knife, never draw the blade toward you. Always cut away from you. Many falls occur in the bathroom. Step on mats getting in and out of the tub. And install handrails. Wet soap and a slippery footing cause many an accident. Garden tools carelessly left in the way can cause a serious fall. We all like to relax at the end of the day, but we must be sure that chairs are strong enough to support our weight. And so we must realize that in spite of these magnificent defense forces afloat, in the air, and ashore, thousands of persons are still being injured or killed every year from dangers within our homes. Dangers beyond the protection afforded by the guardians stationed outside our homes. Remember this, household accidents don't just happen. They are caused by our own foolish carelessness. But fortunately, there are many people who will not tolerate dangerous conditions to exist in their homes. They repair or eliminate the treacherous hazards that breed injury and death. Unsung, not on parade, yet on they march, these men and women who guard us from dangers within our homes every hour of every day. Theirs is not the glory, but it should be, shared with our other protectors, who all march on together toward the goal of greater home safety.
Was that the theme that's used in Monty Python TV show? I've heard that song so many times that I might be confusing it with something else. But I love the name of the company, Industrafilm Incorporated. I need to see what other films Industrafilm did. All right. So I got another film set up. And some of you might be wondering, like, why didn't you show the film from National Film Board of Canada? Well, in the past, our stream has been interrupted when we show some things that were from National Film Board of Canada. So I have to be kind of careful, especially for films that I think are still contemporary, that they are still like putting online, and I don't know. Anyways, here is the third film that I showed last night, Angus Lost. Again, another film about a mischievous dog. Enjoy. Some misbehaving dogs. The question I asked, of course, when I show the films is like, is Angus a good dog or a bad dog? Was Bernard a good dog or a bad dog? And the answers were, they varied depending on who had a dog and who didn't. Let's see, what do we got here? I think it's time to enrich mankind. Enjoy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I understand. Yes, sir, I'll take care of it right away. Goodbye. Oh, Gus isn't going to like this. Gus! Oh, Gus.
That tone of voice at this time of day means just one thing, trouble.
Gus, the professor just called about those machine exhibits.
Machines?
You know, in those boxes he asked you to store in the north wing.
Oh, those. Well, tell the props to relax. They're all stored away.
Oh, that's too bad.
Huh?
I said that's too bad. He now wants them set up in the south wing.
The south wing?
And before the museum opens in the morning.
All the way to the other end of the building.
I'm sorry, Gus. Another short notice tour. A mechanical engineer is bringing in a group of high school students first thing tomorrow. They'd like those exhibits for it.
Okay. Who you got to help?
I'm afraid everyone else is gone, Gus.
That leaves just you and me, huh?
Sorry. Committee meeting tonight. Absolutely essential I be there.
I'm sure of that.
Now, here's what the professor wants. Just follow these instructions and you'll have no trouble. Thanks a lot, Gus. I have to hurry on now. Good night.
Good night. Once again, old Gus is left holding the bag. Store 'em here, store 'em there. Move 'em to the north wing, move 'em to the south wing. Bunch of nonsense. What's so great about the mechanical engineering guys anyway? Machines. Lever. Pretty wonderful, eh, Archimedes? Pretty ridiculous if you ask me. Wheel and axle, it says. A pulley. Inclined plane. Looks like an outside cellar door to me. The wedge. And the screw. And people actually come here to look at this stuff. Sure beats all. What was that?
It's only me, Gus. It's just that I'm a little sensitive about that lever. I had to do something about it.
Now, look here. You can't go running around like this. You're a statue.
There's nothing to worry about, Gus.
But statues don't do that sort of thing. Not in this museum, anyhow.
The museum is closed.
Now, yes, but it opens at 9 in the morning. And if you're prancing around here when those fellows come...
Oh, yes. The mechanical engineer and his high school students.
Come on now. Back on your pedestal like a good statue, please.
I was sort of a mechanical engineer myself, you know. Fact is, the principle of the lever was my discovery.
Okay, anything you say. And now if
I'm
you'll
afraid you don't appreciate the tremendous significance of these simple devices, Gus.
Look, I just work here and...
It's understandable. After all, it's not these machines, but what has come from them that is so amazing. Yes, Gus, even I am amazed the way mechanical engineers have taken the simple principles represented here, combined and adapted them to machines that do almost everything. You know, Gus, all machines, no matter how complicated, are a combination one way or the other of these elements. The lever, wheel and axle, pulley, inclined plane, wedge, and the screw. Yes, it's amazing when you stop and think about it.
Huh, what an imagination.
Right. That's just what it takes most of all. Creative imagination, along with a burning interest in science and mathematics, a large order of ingenuity, and a never-ending curiosity. And the results of all this are all around you, on all sides, to enrich mankind. Think about it, Gus. Think hard. Use your imagination. Think. Think.
Hello, Gus. I'm a farmer. Here's what mechanical engineering has done for all of us who work on the farms, and for you, too. Machines take the place of muscle now. Powerful tractors and all kinds of farm machinery take the tough, hard work out of farming. It's a lot different from the old days. No, sir. No more long hours walking behind a plow. No more laboring by hand to cultivate a crop. No more back-breaking drudgery from morning to night. Today, machines do all the hard work. Wherever you look on the farms across the land, you'll see the burden of work taken off the farmer and put on machines. Wherever there is a job to be done, power and machines take over, doing more work in less time to provide more feed for livestock and a great abundance of food, not only for more than 160 million people in our land today, but for millions of people in other countries all over the world. In 1900, one farm worker could produce only enough for himself and 6 other people. Today, with the help of machines, he can produce enough for himself and 17 others. Think of it. Think of it, Gus. Think of it. Think of it.
Pretty wonderful when you stop and think about it, eh, Gus? But the important thing is it took somebody with creative imagination to see how these simple principles could be applied before those farm machines could become real. And who were the somebodies? Mechanical engineers. You've been married 30 years, haven't you, Gus?
How'd you know that?
Standing around as I do, I overhear a lot of things. During the years, all the various machines you bought for your wife, ever stop to think what they've meant to her? Think what she could say about them, Gus. Remember, remember, remember.
Every appliance you've bought me, Gus, has made living easier, life more pleasant. There are so many wonderful machines a woman has today to help her in her work. Just flip a switch or turn a knob and presto, food cooked deliciously and automatically, not only in the oven, but any other way she likes it prepared. Dishwashing, automatically done without fuss or bother. And wash days, so simple now compared to the days when we were first married, Gus. No matter what the job is, there are machines to take the hard work out of it. And that new home freezer you just bought me, Gus. One more thing to give me extra free time to enjoy myself. More time for us both to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, that's true. But it's hard for me to swallow how those electrical appliances we use around the house tie back to these things.
Oh, you mean because electricity supplies the power? If I didn't know you so well, I think you were just plain stubborn, Gus. It's like this. Without machines, there'd be no power, electrical, steam, or whatever kind. That's where the mechanical engineer comes in, designing machines which produce power. Actually, there is nothing that affects your life that mechanical engineering hasn't touched one way or another. Put your imagination to work again, Gus. Let it run away with you, and you'll see for yourself. For instance, in steel plants, machines of many kinds. Giant furnaces that make thousands of kinds of special steel. Powerful rollers that squeeze and form the metal in various shapes other manufacturers use to produce something you seldom see, or some little thing everyone is familiar with. Because of machines, your food is better. There is more of it and in greater variety. Mechanical engineers have developed machinery for quick freezing foods in the field. And looking to the future, work is being done on the development of atomic isotopes along safe food preservation. Everywhere you look, there are machines, some of them almost human, that do many amazing things. You know, Gus, a long time ago, Leonardo da Vinci had an idea about flying machines. While his machines were practical, his ideas were too far ahead of the people and the times. And he worked alone. Today's progress comes from engineers working together, sharing their knowledge and effort in a way unknown in Da Vinci's time. There were no professional organizations like the American Society of Mechanical Engineers to stimulate such progress and understanding. As a result of those organizations, today, fast, safe-flying machines have reduced the whole world to a small neighborhood. Today, almost everyone in America enjoys his own personal transportation system, and businesses carry their wares to your own doorstep. To build these things, tools are needed. To design and build the machines that make tools, again, mechanical engineers are needed. So, when you travel about in your car, using all the mechanical advantages it affords, such as power steering, think of all the machines, the thousands of operations, large and small, that have come together to make your trip possible. And mechanical engineers have had a hand in every one of them. And good as your car may be today, even now there are young men with imagination who will create a car far better. This creative work never stops. There will always be engineers who conceive things, and what a man conceives, he can do. Think for a moment what a mechanical engineer might tell you about his job. Just imagine what he'd say, Gus.
Our work is far-reaching, Gus. You find it everywhere. You see, it's our job to take raw materials, adapt them to useful forms, take natural forces, and harness them to do man's work. Technically speaking, we design, build, and use apparatus that generates, transmits, and uses power. And that just about covers the waterfront. For instance, you'll find the results of our work in powerful diesel or gas turbine engines working on the railroads, in the new types of power plants for propelling ships across the seas, and other mechanical devices that make it possible to reach the deep caverns of the earth for natural gas or oil, and do hundreds of other tremendous jobs necessary to carry the natural resources to the places where industry transforms them into useful things people need and enjoy. And there's hardly anything that mechanical engineering has not touched in some way. Giant shovels for mining iron ore, and massive loading apparatus to load ore into ships were once only ideas of an engineer. In great forests, timber is prepared for the wood industry, home construction, or for the things you like to make yourself. In every home, the result of mechanical engineering is on all sides. Controls for heating in winter, and air conditioning in summer. And the equipment itself would not have been possible without mechanical engineering. Behind every flick of a switch is a great power plant whose steam boilers and turbines generate electricity for providing instant light or power. Joy, amusement, and happiness are a result of mechanical engineering. Pleasure in enjoying carefree moments outdoors, or the entertainment of your choice. The news of the world in newspapers or magazines. The adventurous land of fiction are yours to enjoy because of mechanical engineering. We could go on for hours, Gus, telling you about the thousands of machines developed by engineers to make the things you use every day of your life. Imagine, imagine, imagine.
It's really astonishing, Gus, that all those machines are developments and adaptations of these 6 simple ones. I once said if I had a place to stand, I could move the earth. But there'd be no point to that. What the engineers have done with the idea is the important thing. That hand truck you use every day, is a simple example that affects you.
By golly, I never thought of that.
Mechanical engineers work right along with other engineers too, like civil engineers. And in mining and metallurgy, in chemistry, in electricity, in just about every field of engineering you'll find a mechanical engineer.
These mechanical engineers, they do about everything, don't they?
Indeed they do, Gus. You can't fit him into a precise slot. For instance, he may be a machine designer, working with electrical engineers to make some machine more efficient. He may be a specialist in scientific management, applying the science of mathematics to quality control or lowering costs. Or an engineer working on ways to improve the optical systems of your camera to give you finer pictures. He may be an aircraft designer who will solve one of the problems of the thermal barrier in supersonic flight. Or he may be a young man who has never worked on a farm, but who has newer ideas on better ways to harvest, pack, or ship a crop. Again, he may be a designer of a catalytic cracking plant, or the designer of oil refineries, or the designer of machines used in the petroleum and chemical industries. And you'll find the result of his work in the design of machinery for better logging operations, and in the design of tools for better woodworking. He may be a professor who spends a lifetime in the classroom, but whose hundreds of students will go out year after year, adventuring and pioneering to improve your life and everyone's. The laboratory may be his world, where he can experiment with ways to handle radioactive materials without exposing human beings to the perils of radiation. Or he may be working on plans for a man-made satellite, or machines for interplanetary travel, or improving ways to adapt atomic power to drive vessels or vehicles, or to produce electricity in power stations. All these people, different though their work may be, are mechanical engineers. They followed those who first fitted a piece of stone into a wood handle. They followed the builders of the pyramids, the inventor of the bow and arrow, the men who harnessed the power of steam. Don't you realize, Gus, the whole history of this land of yours is reflected in mechanical engineering, and that machines are responsible for your country's vast production effort, for all the things that make life worth living.
If this keeps up, it won't be long before machines will do everything. Nobody will have work.
No, Gus. Machines create jobs. Throughout the years, new machines have always meant newer and greater opportunities for people, and more people are at work because of them. The Conestoga wagon that carried a whole nation to the western skies. The cotton gin that released thousands from hard work and increased production many-fold. The steamboat that put James Watt's steam engine to work on the ocean. The first locomotive, the reaper, the sewing machine, the elevator, the air brake, the automobile, the linotype machine, the airplane, and thousands of other inventions. And now, the atom, from which will come developments that no one can foresee, and in which the mechanical engineer will play his part. Perhaps now you can understand why these simple machines are so important. They are the shining symbols of hope, security, and happiness for the future, for you and for the benefit of all.
You know, I never realized just how much these things meant until now.
Yes, Gus. And as time goes on, the ideas of today's engineers and the engineers of tomorrow will make them mean much more. The rapid progress in the past 75 years is a direct result of engineers sharing knowledge with each other. And it is through organizations like the American Society of Mechanical Engineers that the accumulated knowledge and experience of many individuals have been spread through the profession of mechanical engineering to enrich mankind.
I love some films like that. And this one features Archimedes. And it's basically like, what would we do without mechanical engineers? Poor Gus. And thank you for the donations, Jeremy and Kevin. Kevin donated when I showed Sentinels of Safety. And Jeremy just wanted to support Gus, who seems to be buying a lot of modern appliances for his 100-year-old wife. So, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you guys have rest of your Wednesday is good and as enriching as what we have just experienced this day. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll watch some more films, guaranteed. Everybody take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.